everybody. I'm Ina Hillebrandt. I'm here with my favorite guest, Chester L. Richards. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I really am excited to find out again more about what happened on the river at Lava Falls. And right in the beginning, something happened that alerted you that oops. Can you take it from there, please?
Yeah, so you flipped the ball in my direction. I've got to somehow field it. Well, so just to set the scene again, I'm a trainee boatman running the Grand Canyon run. And we've just come down to Lava Falls, which is the biggest rapid on and most dangerous rapid on the river. And I've got two other trainee boatmen in the boat with me, and I'm not doing the oars. One of the other boatmen is actually rowing the boat. And there is a particular route called the bubble route, which we were supposed to be following to get to the bridge that would take us over the waterfall without too much trouble. It's still a very dangerous route, but it's dangerous below the waterfall. The waterfall itself stretches all the way across the river, across the Colorado River, and it's about 10 or 12 feet drop over the lip of the waterfall. So what happened was we didn't find the right route. We actually got to the left of the route and got in a current that was going to take us over the waterfall, which happened. So we're sitting on the lip of the waterfall, and I'm on the back of the boat, which is an inflated raft, and I'm looking down. It's probably 20 feet from where I was sitting to the bottom of the waterfall. And at the bottom of the waterfall, you have what's called a reversal wave. So that's where the real danger is. It isn't the fall itself that's the problem. It's the reversal wave at the bottom, because that's a wave that's running upstream, and it has a horizontal vortex, which can be extremely dangerous if you get caught in it. So we went over the waterfall and we hit the reversal wave, and the boat went vertical and it flipped over on its back. And there I am underneath the boat.
Yeah, that's what I remember reading. I said, oh my God. So tell us what happened.
I'm stuck
You're under the boat. So what happens?
I'm stuck in the reversal. Well, the problem with being in the reversal, of course, is once you're trapped in there, you're kind of stuck. There's no way to really get out except to go deep into the underwater, because the currents are flowing close to the bottom of the river at that point. But up near the surface of the river, they're flowing back upstream. So it's a horizontal vortex or horizontal tornado, if you want to think of it that way. So my experience with water says, first of all, I don't want to be in the boat because the boat's upside down. And yes, you do have trapped air, but you don't want to stay in there because it's dangerous. So I had to get out of the boat, and I had to get out of the reversal. So what I did was I planted my feet on the tube of the boat, the inflated tube, and I pushed myself all the way down as far as I could into the depths of the river. And I caught the bottom current, and the bottom current swept me out of the reversal and downstream. And then my life jacket brought me back up to the surface. And from then on, it was just a matter of paddling myself to avoid rocks and going through big waves and so on until I got to the far end of the rapid. The rapid's maybe a quarter of a mile to a half a mile in length.
So you're bouncing along the river. When you finally, what happened? You finally got out.
Well, I finally got out of the, and then I paddled myself over to the shore, and the other boatmen there had rescued our raft and brought it over to the beach, and I swam over to the beach. I got onto the beach, and I was going to go help them get the boat right up, make it right side up. I couldn't do it. I had totally run out of adrenaline at that point. I just collapsed. I was like a wet rag lying on the sand until I could get some adrenaline back in me.
Thank you for that. I have one other question for you. Something that I hadn't heard you say before has to do with the fact that you found the current at the bottom of the river. And did you know that would be there?
Oh yeah. I understood how the river works, and that's one of the things. The reversal will trap you, and you can drown in the reversal because if you're at the surface, there's just no way to get out of that. So you have to go underneath the reversal wave and pick up the bottom current.
Okay.
But you have to have leverage to do that. So I used the boat itself and pushing off the boat to get me down deep enough to pick up the bottom current.
Yeah. So how did you know all that? Really?
Well, I suspect I had learned it by talking to people who knew what in the world they were talking about. I'd been on a number of river excursions by that point.
I see.
And I had learned kayaking and whitewater. Yeah. I was moderately experienced with whitewater. I've been around the world. I had at least a couple thousand miles of whitewater experience at that point.
Okay. The first time you went on this river, you would not have known.
I have no idea what to, well, people tell you, tell you what to do in different circumstances, but there's nothing like a first time.
I can imagine. Yeah. I remember feeling horrified when I read it. It's quite an adventure.
The interesting thing is when you're in the middle of that experience, it's not scary. You're just busy doing things to get yourself out of it. And you're not thinking in terms of fear at all.
Yeah.
It's just, you're just too busy. And in the many circumstances where I've had extreme cases, there's never been any fear. It's just thinking my way through the problem and getting myself out of it. Right.
I think we talked about that one time. I was sharing with you the fact that when I was a kid, I had a pansy garden that my mother helped me build or create. And one day I sat down and the scissors I was using to cut the pansies went into my thigh.
Ouch, that's gotta hurt.
Deep. There was a hole and I cried out. My mom came out and she just was very calm. She brought me inside, absolutely no emotion about it, brought me inside, cleaned it. She pulled it together with tape and took me right to the doctor.
Yeah.
And he told her that she had done exactly the right thing.
Yeah.
And then he stitched it up and I have hardly any, you can't even see the scar anymore. And I've never forgotten that. It's just what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a very interesting experience. And of course, I've known a number of other people who've been in extreme situations and they all say the same thing. You're just too busy. You're too busy to be afraid.
Yeah, right. Well, I hope our viewers are taking notes about how that has worked for you and my mother. And perhaps some of you that are tuned in have had similar kinds of experiences. This all fits in with what is really the theme of your life, Chester, and that is fill your life with adventures.
Yeah, but I will say this.
Yeah.
While you're in the middle of the emergency, you're too busy. But you got to be really scared going in because you know what the possibilities are. So there's a contemplative period before you start something like this where you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what your immediate future is going to hold. And some of these things are pretty dangerous. They really are. Yes,
I have seen so many in your book that really are. We'll get to some more of those, and we'll talk some more. Let's explore that a little bit more, in one of our further episodes.
Okay,
because I'd like to get into that. How do you decide that it's okay to go on this kind of adventure, and what other kinds of adventures are there? They're not all life-threatening. There are a bunch of adventures in life.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, marvelous. Well, thank you again so much for your time. And everybody out there, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you soon, I hope. And everybody, take care.